A train on the Shanghai-Kunming Expressway caught fire, with thick smoke and flames rising dozens of meters high. On November 12 last year, a train caught fire in Erlangmiao Town, Fangcheng County, Nanyang City, Hunan Province. Chinese trains are very dangerous. This can happen any moment. In the video, multiple carriages spout flames simultaneously. Trains catching fire is a Chinese tradition. Aerial photography of Hunan passenger train rollover scene, black smoke billowing from the carriage. Passengers have to escape through the windows. China's once celebrated railway system has morphed into a disconcerting saga of accidents, unveiling a web of systemic failures and safety lapses. From train fires to high-speed derailments, the nation's rail network grapples with a concerning pattern of incidents, eroding public trust and challenging its ambitious development goals. This exposé peels back the layers, exposing overcrowded trains, collapses, and a cultural disregard for safety. Behind the scenes, systemic flaws, lax management, and regulatory oversights create a chilling cocktail of risk. As the wreckage mounts, it becomes clear that without comprehensive reforms and a shift towards transparency, China's railways risk becoming synonymous with danger rather than progress. An MTR train derailed and many carriages broke into pieces in Hong Kong. The mainland has brought their tofu to this region. Railway in Shijiazhuang collapse. How come rain can collapse a concrete structure? Nanjing Nanhu subway collapse. The devastation is unimaginable. A subway construction site under construction in Harbin collapsed suddenly, but fortunately there were no casualties. One of the darkest moments came in an area near Wenzhou in southern China. A high-speed train, halted due to a rainstorm disabling the signaling equipment, was rear-ended by another, resulting in 40 fatalities and 192 injuries. Not only did this incident cast a shadow over the reliability of China's high-speed rail system, but it also highlighted potential systemic issues in its operations and emergency response mechanisms. Not to mention, Chinese state media also reported that at least 19 people are dead and more than 70 people have been injured when a passenger train derailed in the eastern region. D2809 train hit a mudslide during its mission, causing the train to derail. The driver Yang Yong died on the spot. Many electric poles were hit, making some resistance. The 7th and 8th carriages were derailed. Not to mention, most of the Chinese trains are overcrowded, making death toll much higher. The infrastructure for the trains are bad. The collapse of the Tianjin-Nanhuanlingang Railway Bridge is one example. While statistics and government reports may boast of a decrease in the number of railway-related deaths over the years, skepticism remains, fueled by incidents of poor management and the secrecy surrounding some accidents. In 2016, for example, the Railway Administration reported the lowest annual death toll since records began. However, the details of certain accidents, like the one where 6 maintenance workers were killed in Hunan Province, are obscured, raising questions about transparency and accountability within the system. Furthermore, safety risks aren't confined to high-profile crashes. The split between the National Railway Administration, NRA, and the China Railway Corp, CRC, has been implicated in regulatory issues and resultant safety hazards. Disagreements over disclosure rules and the underreporting of mishaps suggest an institution more concerned with its image than with the genuine well-being of its passengers. A coal freight train traveling towards Kanwangdo collided with a freight train moving backward, resulting in the derailment of 17 train carriages, with 11 falling off a bridge. The 2 train drivers jumped off their trains before the collision, sustaining minor injuries, and there is currently no information on casualties. According to Hake News, witnesses described a loud noise that could be heard several hundred meters away. Moreover, while international comparisons may sometimes favor China's rail system in terms of safety records, such comparisons can obscure the real issues at hand. For instance, deficiencies in personnel training, emergency preparedness, and infrastructure maintenance persist. The accident in Hunan is one of many examples. Aerial photography of T-179 train derailment in China. What a horrific scene! But sometimes, some people just really want to commit suicide. Luckily no one get hurt. A train collision occurred in the Tianjin section of Daqing Railway. Reports suggest that the brake is not working. It is also essential to consider the safety of non-passengers, such as those engaged in the construction and maintenance of the railway lines. The emphasis on rapid expansion of the network seems to outpace the necessary safety and quality checks, leading to accidents that, while not affecting passengers directly, underscore the systemic risks involved in such ambitious infrastructure projects. Because of that, China's train accidents are very terrifying. Mainland China's high-speed rail derailed and crashed into the platform at high speed. The train was seriously damaged and the driver was killed and 8 injured. A high-speed train in Anhui, China, burst into flames while it was traveling, burning the front and 2 carriages into scrap metal. Fortunately, there were no casualties. Moreover, the industry's push towards efficiency and expansionism doesn't always align with safety protocols, leading to incidents that have far-reaching consequences beyond direct casualties. These statistics don't just indicate isolated incidents but suggest a broader systemic issue within the railway infrastructure sector, where the rush towards expansion and the drive for efficiency potentially compromise the safety of those constructing and maintaining these critical transport networks. Escalating accidents expose alarming safety crises and erode public trust in breakneck development. The increasing frequency and severity of train accidents in China raise significant concerns about the underlying systemic issues within the nation's railway system. Despite the country's ambitious expansion and leadership in high-speed rail technology, these accidents highlight critical flaws in safety protocols, regulatory oversight, and a culture that prioritizes rapid development, often at the expense of operational security and human safety. A fire broke out in a 50-ton lead train carriage. Multiple parties worked together to put out the fire in Xi'an, Gansu for 11 hours. A culture of rapid development at all costs. China's commitment to extending its high-speed rail network indeed showcases its technological and economic ambitions. Nonetheless, the emphasis on speed and expansion, with reported investment reaching 640.7 billion yuan, approximately $90 billion in 2023, underscores a relentless pursuit that often overlooks the equally critical areas of safety and operational oversight. This culture of prioritizing rapid development at all costs not only poses significant risks to passenger safety but also raises questions about the sustainability of such an expansion in the long run, where safety protocols and maintenance could become increasingly challenging to uphold against the backdrop of an ever-expanding network. Do you think a train can cross something like this? On July 30th last year, a freight train derailed in Nanjiang, Heilongjiang. The Emergency Management Bureau said there were no casualties and the cause is being investigated. Completely ignoring the safety of the passengers, trains in China are sometimes overcrowded. Systemic flaws in safety protocols and management. The unfolding narrative of railway safety in China is marred by a series of systemic flaws in safety protocols and poor management practices. This predicament is starkly illuminated by the recurrence of issues related to the railway signal systems and the substandard maintenance of infrastructure, forming a grim backdrop to the nation's transportation woes. The magnitude of this challenge is brought into sharp relief by the chilling statistic that, over 2 decades, China has witnessed 317 deaths across its expansive railway network, equating to 1 death per 55.3 billion passenger kilometers. This statistic, though seemingly modest in the vast scale of China's rail passenger kilometers, underscores the lethal cost of systemic safety failures. Further exacerbating this dire narrative are gaps in the training of staff on new technologies. As the railway infrastructure burgeons, with nearly 150,000 kilometers of railways in operation by 2020, making it the second largest in the world, the chasm between operational practices and technological advancements widens. This gap not only undermines the efficacy of the railway system but also jeopardizes passenger safety. Rain-collapsed concrete structure in Nanyang, Sichuan, and the Fujian Bridge on the Baocheng Railway. What is Chinese's material made of? A construction vehicle overturned and invaded the railway line, causing the K5133 passenger train to derail. The robustness of oversight mechanisms has notably failed to keep pace with the technological and operational expansions of the railway system. Critical vulnerabilities remain unaddressed, overshadowed by a labyrinth of bureaucracy and ineffective management. This scenario is starkly evident in the reluctance to publish fatal train crash data, a policy that not only obscures the true extent of the crisis but also impedes meaningful reforms. As reported in 2014, the China Railway Corporation, CRC, published for the first time a death toll of 1,336 fatalities in railroad accidents for 2013. This admission, while revealing, points to a deeper culture of opacity and resistance against transparency. In blending these elements, the lackluster maintenance of infrastructure, the training gaps, inadequate emergency protocols, and the sluggishness of oversight mechanisms, the narrative of railway safety in China reveals a deeply troubling picture of systemic negligence. The enduring legacy of these failures not only tallies in the stark numerics of fatalities and injuries but also in the erosion of public trust and the shadow cast upon China's ambitious railway advancements. Regulatory oversights and lack of accountability. The fast pace of railway development has sometimes outstripped the regulatory framework needed for safe governance. Moreover, there is a noticeable lack of accountability when accidents occur, with investigations being slow and lacking transparency. The consequences for errors leading to accidents often do not match the severity of the outcomes. This lack of stringent regulatory enforcement and accountability creates an environment where safety is not prioritized as it should be. A bus, despite all warnings, tries to cross the railway despite knowing a train is coming. Lacking proper law enforcement is what makes this thing happen. A truck hit a railway bridge in Jingyuan, Gansu, causing the locomotive to derail and fall. Luckily, no death has been reported. The human cost and public distrust. The human cost of these accidents is immense, leading to loss of life and injuries. Additionally, public trust in the rail system erodes with each incident, challenging the goals of China's rail ambitions. This growing skepticism can dampen enthusiasm for rail travel, potentially hindering further development. To improve, China must address these underlying causes by revamping safety protocols, ensuring regulatory bodies are capable of governing the rapidly evolving system, and fostering a culture of accountability. For example, analyzing the characteristics of train-pedestrian collisions in southwest China from 2011 to 2020 reveals a high fatality rate, with collisions more likely to occur to men, senior citizens, and during morning hours. The study emphasizes the need for targeted safety measures, such as protective fences and overpasses, to mitigate these risks. Furthermore, comparing China's safety record with Japan's advanced rail systems underscores the necessity for active safety management and innovative technologies to reduce accident risks. Implementing such measures could significantly improve safety in China's railway system. Finally, the issue of transparency and accountability cannot be overstressed. The reluctance of the CRC to fully disclose details of accidents feeds into a broader narrative of negligence and evasion of responsibility. As a result, even as technological advancements and statistical improvements are reported, the shadow of past accidents and the opacity surrounding current operational practices cast a long pall over the perceived safety of China's railways. In the end, while China's railway system has achieved remarkable feats in terms of scale and speed, significant concerns about its safety and management cannot be ignored. Until comprehensive measures are taken to address these issues, and until there's a shift towards greater transparency and accountability, the perception of China's railways as a risky mode of transport will persist, regardless of any statistical assurances to the contrary.